What's up? We're live, man. How's it going?
What's going on?
How's your morning or afternoon? I guess it's afternoon now for you.
Pretty good, pretty good. Um, I right off the bat, I had something I wanted to ask you about after I just ran the most recent projections, and that would be by the just welcome everybody. Early slate tonight. There's like just a three gamer. I don't know if I'm going to do much of anything for that.
Yeah, I don't know if I am either.
I mean, if we do, well, you'll get the notification. If you've set it for notification, but we'll just see if it's worth it.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you about is, I guess it's not a big deal. It was this Boston pitching thing. Just small slate. I just wanted to look at. So you have apparently this Garza is the opener. Then it says Brandon Walter is coming in to be the long reliever, and only because it's a small slate do I ask you about it.
Yeah.
Do you think this Walter is playable at 4K?
Not for me.
Okay.
I think he's playable. Yeah, I wouldn't take him out of my builds because of the strangeness of the slate and the small slate and everything. But I'm not trying to play. I don't have him. I wouldn't play any. I'm not playing any of them.
Okay. So with that said, then for me, it looks like a choice between three pitchers for me. It looks like either Nola, Logan Allen, or Snell. Do you agree with that assessment, or do you like anybody else in there?
What about Joe Ryan?
Yeah, I just thought it was too expensive. You prefer Ryan to those guys?
No, I prefer Nola. But I don't think there's anything wrong with Joe Ryan. So I have Ryan, Nola. I have Nola, Logan Allen as the top two, and then I have Ryan, and then Snell. I actually like the bats against Snell a little bit today.
Yeah, we talked about that late. We've talked about that late last night. If we want to do a spike stack.
Well, I was hoping for a little better weather in San Francisco during the day because, sometimes you'll get like a 70-degree day or whatever. It's only 58 or whatever, which is a little bit annoying. It's still, just in general, that stadium tends to play much better for hitting during the day than it does much, much better than it does at night. And you're going to get an unowned San Francisco side of things. And I like San Diego. My stacks are I'm San Diego, Minnesota today, I think, and then with some San Francisco.
Yeah, my current build, and I'm going to redo it, is San Diego. Although, I'm inclined to try a little Washington as well. I'm getting Stone Garrett at 2,600 hitting fourth. And I'm considering doing some of that. Maybe not a full stack, but a lot of my builds I have them as like kind of three-man stacks, actually.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm just going through it right now. I'm just seeing, Wood against these guys. They've hit him pretty good, like reasonably good. Yeah, but my main one is I do think that Minnesota is the team I would play the most. I want exposure to that game, and I have too much respect for Joe Ryan to stack Boston at these prices. Although I think that it's kind of an interesting play, but it's 90 degrees there. It's one of the few good hitting conditions. Terrible hitting conditions in Cleveland. I'm sorry, no, terrible hitting conditions in Washington and in Philadelphia.
Bad hitting conditions in Washington.
Strong winds blowing in, and it's cold. So 10 miles an hour blowing in from center in Washington at 65 degrees, and 12 miles an hour blowing in 64 degrees in Philadelphia from center.
No, we don't have a lineup yet for San Diego, San Francisco.
Yeah, which is also really good, I think.
Yeah. Well, I do know this is that it is possible that Gary Sanchez could be pinch hit for. That we know for sure.
Now we know. But I think that, I honestly really don't understand exactly what happened.
They saw my lineups. That was it.
I'm still playing them, but it's weird. It does feel a little bit thinner than it didn't. I almost wish I didn't see that last night. Yeah, I think this. If I'm not playing Sanchez, this guy Patrick Bailey, I think that is assuming that he plays for San Francisco today, that I would want to play him. it's really hard to know with San Francisco because you don't know how their lineup's going to look at all. So trying to figure out how to stack them is always tricky. So I'm just trying to figure out the best I can with that, and mostly just use that game as make sure I have 4 pieces of that game in each of my lineups, whether it's a 2-2, whether it's 4 from San Diego or San Francisco. I just really want to have exposure, and then I'll be able to shift around, seeing after we see how the lineups come out.
Yeah,
I know it's very, very early, but our boy Kenny is off to chance with it at the big. Not well. He doesn't play the $25, but he's got like the 4th best score possible right now.
In what?
In golf.
Has anybody even started playing yet?
I know. I was trying to figure that. Well, they're almost done. There's like 4 guys done. There's the 4 of his guys are like done.
Oh, he's got Keegan.
He's got Keegan. Who ended up with a little bit of, but not enough.
By the way, for those of you that I don't know, follow all of our stuff. If you're a premium subscriber, you have access to the premium Discord. And what I posted in the Discord today was the ownership breakdown based. What I did was I compared our ownership report. I mean, our ownership projections to, which is basically the industry, to what actually happened. And then I kind of ranked, where the industry was kind of most off. And what's interesting, it's you start to get a feel for this. As I mentioned, as I suggested, Sahith Theegala, we came in at 10% and he was owned at 16,
Right.
They like playing him. And the big difference, actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to share this right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. May as well.
And I posted actually the raw, just the whole raw spreadsheet actually in the Discord. That's something I definitely only want to put I think in the premium. I'm not sure. Yeah. So the guy that was the biggest discrepancy was actually Hubbard. Like we only had him at 7%, and he's played 15%. Again, we're talking about the in the lottery. And then Sahith, we were about 6 full percentage points off there. And Rory, man, nobody played him. He ended up at 10%. We had him at 15. Hovland was 5% more than we thought. And those are the real, those are what I just ranked them by absolute difference, and the rest we were pretty close. Now, as far as just actual ownership, just to kind of take a look at how it came in, and as we knew, Henley was pretty damn. We almost like to the point. I mean, we had him at 26%. He was on 27. Like these ownership projections are usually pretty tight. So when there are outliers, that's what I like to think of. So again, we have to make kind of that mental note, at least for now, that Hubbard and Theegala, are just probably just liked a little bit more than the ownership would project in general. And the other one, again, it was really, really strange. It was kind of like the point of contention again, and was not contention, was what was going to happen with Jason Day, because Sabres have had it like 20%, everybody else had him at like 6%, and he ended up at like 6%. So so we'll mark that. And again, if I wanted to go back and back test again, the Sabres would get dinged for that, and it would get. Right. What would be cool about it is that it would get adjusted. And then I have to do another back testing one of these days.
It is really interesting with golf because it does feel like it should be the easiest to get projections right, and it seems to be the hardest sometimes.
You mean the ownerships?
The ownership, yeah.
Yeah. But it was funny because there was when I used to do this for baseball, I used to for basketball, I would notice that some sites always either over or under projected certain players. So like when I used to look at Daily Roto, which is Dinkmeyer's site before they, kind of got absorbed or whatever. Like when I would do the basketball, you would always see on their site, you'd get amazing always optimals with Joe Ingles. Regardless of what else was going on in the slate or who they were playing and who anybody else liked, Joe Ingles for some reason, and I to this day, I think there was just something wrong with one of their inputs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That just always had him at like more than everybody else. So I'm telling you, I bet you they had some historical like usage rate or something, and they were one of the sites that never really posted like the whole drill downs. And I would have loved to have kind of gotten into it and helped them even say, hey, you're always getting more Joe Ingles. Something's got to be up. But
Right.
so I think that's sort of interesting. And that's kind of a cool Goldie thing. By the way, I mentioned it into the chat. I think Goldie should do something similar with his with the industry aggregates for all the sports, with respect to like even for our own benefit, just like seeing like where we're off and seeing where the industry is off and seeing if there's any kind of trends of what types of players to think about.
I think that's a good step. I know he's got a lot going on with the with trying to get this stuff automated for good and get it ready for the other sports. But I think it's a really good thing to try to implement as well once we get a little more of his time.
Yeah. So just for I mean, this is nothing particular earth-shattering. I mean, I'll probably end up playing like Snell Nola with some Padres, and hope it's not too chalky. Possible it's too chalky, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it probably will be fairly chalky. I mean, it's interesting that like I'm just completely off of Arizona and Washington, so that's going to keep me a little bit away from some chalk stuff. I do think Minnesota is going to be owned, but I'm willing to pair them with San Diego and still take I actually don't see San Diego as being like crazy, like, you know what I mean? And you do have the pinch hit risk of like not only with you have Nelson Cruz, who you could get pinch hit for at some point. You've got Gary Sanchez, obviously. So there's a little bit of volatility there. But what I would say is the way you could do the San Diego thing is maybe don't play Tatis and play Soto instead. Just because of the ownership. Like Tatis is probably going to be 30% owned, and Soto is probably going to be like 5% owned.
That's pretty ballsy too, huh?
I mean, it's baseball.
Baseball, no, I get it.
Yeah, and Soto's awesome. I mean,
no, I'm not saying not play Soto. I mean,
yeah, it's just the not playing the. And that's what I'm in my big build. I specifically had to try to get a little extra off the board. So I thought I'd play Soto instead and do a San Diego stack without Tatis, a 4-man San Diego stack without Tatis. And I also think this should go without saying, there is absolutely no need to stack today. I happen to like the stacks a little bit better than I usually do, especially San Diego, Minnesota, and I think San Francisco actually has a really good case too as being another one. So.
To not have to stack, or because
no, I think I actually like them as stacks. So I don't mind. Like I wouldn't go out. I'm not going out of my way not to stack, except for I'll do a 4-4, like I said, with like the little thing, the little shift with the Tatis thing. But I like the Giants, Padres, and Twins, and I think that even on a bigger slate, I would look at stacking all these teams today.
Are you playing any FanDuel today?
No. I don't know why I've been off FanDuel for a little bit. I guess sort of go in waves with it. It's not always. They actually haven't even sold out their tournament yet.
I don't even like. I mean, the way it's so funny. The way they think about their tournament offerings is so weird sometimes. They'll put like nothing big, and then they'll put like a 3,300 that like nobody can play really, with like a $20,000 first prize or something. And nothing between that and like the 100, it's like you said.
Right. No, I hear you. Actually, you know what? I think I might throw in a lineup right here on right where we're going. I think it's going to be a San Francisco stack.
But meanwhile, don't forget the real sweat for today.
Slater, Mata, Estrada, Davis. What's that?
The real sweat for today is is where all the big money is coming in. That's the under 8 trades.
I still can't understand this.
we must be misreading it or something, right?
Something we're missing here. And like we're sure it's just today, right? It's not just till the end of time.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It just seems like crazy a little bit. But hey, I mean, yeah,
whatever works, I guess.
Whatever works. Yeah.
So for those of you that aren't paying attention, I was trolling on Bet Online last night. And we were just just looking for something to do, and it said, now again, I don't know if this is accurate, but it said that we were able to bet on under 8 trades. Oh my God, what's going on with my Excel? Under 8 trades in the in the first round of the NBA playoffs today, NBA draft.
Right.
And I don't. And again, unless there's something that there's got to be something that we're missing, right? I mean, like.
I honestly can't understand it. Like, I really can't even figure out what it would mean. But it has to count for how many. Like, I don't know. Like, if there's a 3-way team traded, how can that only be one trade?
Right.
If they're betting the 8.5, I mean, that just seems like nuts. I don't know. To me, it seemed I was shocked.
Well, my mouse is like.
Oh, they're letting Noda bat third against Logan Allen. That's pretty interesting. That's a really shaky lineup there for Oakland.
Noda's batting third, you're saying?
No, yeah, it's just weird. Like they're playing against lefty. They haven't really done that much. Yeah, Correa. Okay, let's do this. Outfield. I have too much money to spend left here.
Is that FanDuel?
Yeah.
We're using NOLA?
I'm using NOLA. I'm using NOLA. I mean, my lineups actually look very similar, which is kind of weird.
I bet Corey Carroll popping 6K now on DraftKings.
He deserves it, man. He's been great.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second here. All right, sorry. Let me just do this. Oh, I have to add funds. That's how bad it's been when you got to add funds.
I always add funds and take that. That was your first lesson you told me.
Take out everything out. I know. The problem is I haven't been taking things out lately. it's a lot more fun when you've been taking things out and you have to deposit back.
And you get to and that story becomes cooler.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I got in the FanDuel one. And I'm playing a San Francisco stack, like a 4-2-2 San Francisco, San Diego, Minnesota.
Like any Cleveland today?
I'm not on Cleveland, and I think it's totally fine. I just don't like playing Cleveland, but it's a 5-game slate, so you don't need to worry the fact that they have the lowest home run rate. And they're averaging like barely over a half a home run a game. That's like would be like the lowest recent numbers ever. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, so this is our bet that we have. We have NBA draft, first round, total trades in the first round, under 8, minus 130. Can I tell you? That's what it says.
It's possible, I guess. I mean, that's a lot. You realize that it does seem like crazy. Like usually you'll have like 2 or 3. I don't know.
When is that? Was that tonight, right?
Yeah, and what that's telling me is that they're really pretty sure that something's going to happen with the Dame Lillard, probably today.
There's something they're already modeling for. Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be, and if that happens, then that would probably be like you probably end up with like 3 other subsequent trades that would have to do because of that one,
Right.
So some salary dumps and whatnot. But I have it's really weird. I don't usually play this like the same lineups on both sites, but that's what I'm doing today.
Let's see, Garrett.
Except for the San Francisco part.
Alec Thomas, he's cheap. Looking for some cheapos here. Chavis has 0 home runs.
He hasn't played that much this year, I don't think.
It's true.
And he's definitely a huge pinch hit guy.
He's a pinch hit risk guy, you're saying.
Yeah, he doesn't play. Like, I don't even remember seeing him hit against the righty unless people are injured. I'll tell you what, Xander has played one of the worst rounds I've ever seen to be under par still.
It's a really easy. I mean, they're killing this course.
Yeah, actually, they're not killing it as bad as I thought they were going to, but it's other than like Keegan. But yeah, you're right. It's you'd imagine the cut. I thought the cut line was for sure going to be like -4, -5. I think it's probably more likely at the moment to be -3.
Yeah, it's weird how SaberSim will give me these weird one-offs like Chavis or Alec Thomas and guys like that. But that's cool. I can go back in and just X. I mean, X them. I can just screw around. Yeah. I don't need that.
Between San Francisco and San Diego, are we going to have to wait like all? It could be like forever before these guys put their lineups out. They are two of the worst teams, and they're obviously the West Coast teams, but like they're two really like late lineup got teams. Boy, what happened to some of these? Like what's going on with Kepler this year? Jeez. These aren't as bad. Oh, they're pretty. All right. What else have we got today? So the draft. So that's going to be fun though. The draft. I still am baffled by that guy getting $60,000 bet to win $300. I still think it's like.
Wait, what was that now? Oh, right. You told me about that. Right?
Yeah. It's really like safe though. Like, I mean, there's a 0% chance. Like there really is. I can't believe they even put a line on it. You know what I mean?
Michael Taylor.
I don't think Sheets means Sheets. They're asking if you mean to share your SaberSim screen. I don't think Sheets is trying to share anything right now.
No, I'm sharing the Bet Online screen right now.
Oh, he's sharing the Bet Online. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I don't think he's trying to share the SaberSim screen.
No, what, you want me to?
No, I don't know. Scott asked.
Do you mean to be sharing your SaberSim screen? No, I'm sharing my. I don't know what you're talking about. I think I'm sharing my Bet Online screen. That's what it says here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I could share my SaberSim screen. There's nothing really to see right there. Yeah, the Chavis. I'm just looking at my buy-ins here. Looking at my lineups here. And yeah, I'm going to be doing the MMA DFS slate preview later, probably right after we finish this, and then betting breakdown tomorrow at some point, or maybe even later tonight, and sometime before Saturday. I mean, I'll put my what I'll do is I'll put my lineup up, and I'll put a link to the contest so everybody can sweat it. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Just so you guys know, I'll show you the payout structure. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's just because
let's see it.
Just because of the amount. I'll show you in a second. Just because of the amount of the money, it's whatever. But it's I'll show you. All right, so this is the. So these are the payouts. So like 11th to 15th is 10,000, and then it scrolls all the way up. Like first prize is 250,000 plus whatever that is, some tournament of champions thingy, which I don't care about. And then second is 100. So it's not. Hey, listen, this is better than like some of the big GPPs, right? I mean, 250, 100, 60,
yeah,
40, 30. Yeah, this isn't terrible. Okay.
No, I mean it's really not that bad actually. It's just that you want to get out of the obviously. I mean, you want to win. Yes.
And then you'll see. There's 8. There's 9. No, there's 4. There's 12. 13 entries, but then there's 2 people with 2. Court Jesters, who you know. I mean, most people know who he is. Brian Jester. He won the million. He's part of Occupy Fantasy. He won $1 million this year and something, I think. And this Buffoon guy, he had, so both these guys have 2 entries. And I met this guy, by the way, at one of the live events I went to. Actually, the last time they had one of the like round 2 or something, I happened to be at that, and this guy Chief ST was there, and I met him. He's a nice dude. This guy Kafalik, he's an expert. He's like a Run Pure guy who he's not like a content provider, but he's like, he's usually over there, and he's really good. Squirrel Patrol, obviously, you know him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, these guys are just all, these guys are all pretty good.
How many multiples?
This guy Buffoon has 2,
Uh-huh.
and Court Jester has 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's not so bad.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that there's 14 fights, and that's a lot of fights, and there's a lot of things you could do. You know what I mean? So it's not like everybody's going to be like kind of like pigeonholed into the same builds.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I've been seeing all the content, all the people I respect. I've been gathering opinions. There's like one other podcast I need to listen to later tonight with a guy who I think is really super sharp, and then I'll probably be ready to go. You got to watch. There's one other like really just kind of bizarre bit of business that you have to always deal with in MMA is that once the first fight locks, there's no more late swap, and there's always like a 2% chance that like a late fight can get canceled, and then you're stone dead. Just have those are like cool tiebreakers. You probably want to play the earlier fights if possible. But then on the other, this is actually kind of cool, is that if in fact I am live going to those late fights, it's actually kind of a benefit that I'm not at the live final, because the live final is in Florida where you can't do sports betting.
Mm-hmm.
And here I'm in New York. If I feel like hedging something, I can. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit. That's a little something.
Yeah.
But I believe, and I'll talk about this, but I believe the main event, which is the last fight, I would say of the 15 people that are in it, or the 15 entries, I would say about 12 of them are going to be on that one, and on the favorite over there. And it's a question of whether you want to fade that or not. It's listen, I've never played in this type of contest, but I don't know how many of these other people have really played in that many of them. I'm sure Squirrel Patrol has some experience, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine the Court Jesters has some experience, and the Kafalik's a smart guy, so he'll try to figure it out. But listen, at the end of the day, it's just fights and people. It's a lot of variance, but listen, we'll see how it goes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's like that much experience in high edge 15-person fields. Like, I don't think there's
not, right?
I guess not that much experience in it. I don't think.
I guess not.
For the premium people, I did just update my current builds. I ended up with more Blake Snell than I thought I was going to play at first, partly because I actually think that I looked at some of his numbers in this matchup, and I think that it's actually a better matchup a little bit than I thought. But I'm also going to stack San Francisco, so I'm going to do one or the other.
Yeah, I'm sort of similar with my with this Washington business. Like I have a little bit of Washington. I have a little bit of Tommy Henry too. But I'm mostly it's like a weird. It's mostly I'm just paying for those two guys. I think the Snell and Nola. Although I'm now looking at my most recent builds, I'm actually, I think you'd like this. I actually have more Ryan than I kind of let on. Maybe. We'll see. It's baseball. and it is kind of like late afternoon hammerish. I mean, the San Francisco game starts like 2 hours after the others, right?
Right.
So there is room to there's no room to swing, to pivot if you have Snell, right?
Right.
Because Snell, who's on the San Francisco side? Nobody, right? Wood. Oh God.
Wood. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough pivot to go from Snell to Wood.
But why would you have to do that? Oh, it's just because if you were
no reason.
Oh,
but if you were rough, right?
Just change any Padres you have to Giants.
Right.
I think that'll be good enough if you.
But if you have Snell, maybe play Snell with some San Francisco guys on cross from them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. The only problem is it's hard to find a bat. Like I like the San Francisco stack idea more than I like the actual individual bats that you're hitting. And they're actually pretty good against lefties, but like because they rotate everybody. But like Flores isn't available, I don't think. Who else is missing? Somebody else is missing, but I can't think of who it is.
You have any? You like Atlanta at all? Now do you think? Now they think about it?
No, I don't like anything in that. I don't like the hitting in that game. That's a terrible hitting weather.
All right.
And it's fine. Like you can go and spend up, but I don't think. Like, let me just see real quick. I think Atlanta. Let me see. Wow, that run total seems crazy. They're not going to have much ownership. Yeah, I mean, they're always legitimately in play. I prefer them by a lot to get to lefties. They're the best team in baseball by far versus lefties. They're probably just the best team in baseball, to be honest, but especially against lefties. Actually, against righties, you know what? They're just the best team in baseball. How are they hitting 294 as a team? That's impossible. Like, how are you supposed to beat that team? That's nuts.
Michael Taylor. Frank him. D. Hill is 2,400. Derek Hill. He's had one.
Hall or Derek Hill?
Derek Hill.
Who is that?
He's an outfielder for Washington who is 2,400.
Oh, yeah.
He was called up. He's batted 8th in his first game, and he was 1 for 3. And let's take a look.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be playing bottom of the order.
Right? Well, I will say this.
You legitimately may get one at bat.
Well, I will say this, though. He, in 194 at-bats in the minors, he has 11 stolen bases.
He's not going to steal against Tommy Henry, most likely.
He's not going to steal against Tony Henry.
Tommy Henry is a lefty, unless you're like an elite base stealer. Don't usually run as much on lefties. And again, maybe one at bat if they get to Henry. If they don't get to Henry, 2 at bats probably. There's a chance he plays the whole game. But Garrett hit a home run, hit a grand slam in his first at bat, and then they pulled him for a second at bat.
It's what a country.
I know. It's just something I definitely wouldn't.
I have this feeling that Nelson Cruz is going to get the day off. By the way,
it's weird because it's like the time where you should be playing like him, and that's gonna muck things up a little bit.
I mean, he's 2,400, but it was like a night game into a day game. You know what I mean? Like,
but he doesn't play. He doesn't do anything. He just hits anyway.
I guess so.
He only had 2 at bats, which is another thing to worry about. You're really hoping that he gets there off wood pretty quickly because he's not going to be around for the righties later on. I'm really glad I went to full fade on. I ended up with 1 Homa lineup.
Homa? How's he doing? He's not doing well?
Yeah, he's +1. He's about to finish the day at least +1. Oh, maybe +2. Yeah, +2.
Let's see how these guys are doing.
I guess
she'll play -2. Oh, there's the Putnam is -4.
Yeah, and then
got in on that. Oh, and the Grillo finished -3. That's reasonable.
Yeah, I played a lot. I played Ches. My first lineup build was the best lineup that I would have built. Because I had Ches Reeve, who's 4 under, and he's 5% owned at 6,700. I have JT Poston, who's 3 under, 1%, and then the chalky can't lay.
Hey, I'll show you my big buy and my signature hole. I didn't need to go this freaking off the board. Look at these ownerships here. This is a little nuts.
Oh, it's wild. I don't understand. I never understood the Woodland thing for this tournament, but you and Kenny were both high on him.
I was just doing it as a pivot, off of Connor and Henley. I didn't think he was just going to play either of those 2 guys. But
I'd be stoked on that ownership if I were you.
Yeah, but the Grillo at 2%, he finished -3.
Yeah.
Putnam was getting all the steam late. He got up to 9-10%.
Yeah.
Fowler and Day 5 and 6%. I'm very surprised by that, actually. We'll see.
Neither of those surprised me too much. I actually thought that you were right on when you said that. You said the other sites were saying it, but I thought that it made sense to me that Saberson was way too high on the projection.
Yeah.
All right. Why did my thing
Yeah, I'm just feeling this is going to be like a -5 cut or something like that. I don't know.
It might be. It legitimately might be. It's like right now it's looking like -3, 3 or 2, but it could be a, it could be. There's a lot of guys though who are just like -1 even, just hanging around.
Yeah, I'm just seeing every time I look up at the board, there's like a 315-yard par 4. I'm like, oh god.
I know.
And then I see like that whatever the course is. I mean, I see like there's these houses like right next to it, which means it's kind of like a country clubbish type course. And I just have a feeling they're gonna just rip this thing. But we'll just see. See what happens. I guess I'm gonna go because I want to work on this MMA thing.
Okay, yeah.
And you can hang out if you want.
No, I'm gonna head out too. But yeah, good luck everybody. And if there's any questions, I'll be in Discord and all that stuff.
Yep. I guess if we do anything tonight, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good, bud. Take it easy.